there, day traders. Welcome back to Fides Trading Channel, and we are back again with another Fides Flow video. In these Fides Flows videos, I do a deep dive into the price action and fundamentals behind gold, Nas100, and US30, giving you a clear roadmap for the trading week ahead. Using high time frame technicals, I identify key zones, momentum shifts, and trend structures, and then combine that with real-time economic drivers like interest rate, inflation data, and market sentiment. So whether you're swing trading or day trading, this breakdown helps you really understand what's moving these markets and where high probability setups might form. So without further ado, let's hop into the markets. We are starting with gold on the 4-hour time frame. And what we can observe is that gold is currently in a bullish move. I previously had sentiment that gold would have actually dropped further down from this level, but it appears that the bulls have held strong and we've actually broken past the resistance at 3,400. At the moment, gold was in this very choppy nature here around Tuesday, Wednesday, but on Wednesday at around 7 o'clock on the 7 p.m. candle, markets had a massive bullish push and have been moving bullish ever since. As it stands on the 4-hour chart, we are trading above the 50 SMA and we are showing bullish momentum on the RSI, trading above 55 but below 70. We did tap into that overextended over 70, but for the most part, our momentum is still very much bullish. So we have three confluences for bullish. We have market structure with higher lows and respective higher highs. We have price trading above the 50 SMA. We have bullish momentum on the RSI, as well as price breaking above that resistance level. So that's actually a fourth confluence right there. So it is clear that the bulls are in control. Let's drop into a lower time frame. On the 1-hour chart, we can see that price is trading above the 50 SMA here as well. We're trading in the bullish zone of the RSI with bullish market structure in the higher lows, higher highs. So it is clear that the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frame is correlated. We have the break and retest zone here at 3,400. And at this point in time, I'm waiting for price to come back here, test said zone, and actually push higher. I would also like to note that we do have a certain support level forming here at 3,415, and we could actually see a push from this price here. I would be setting an alert down here at, I don't want to set it on the trend line, but I'll just set it above the trend line at 3,400. And when price gets down there, I will be looking to take a long position and ride that bullish momentum to the upside. Added confluences for this move is we are currently in the retracement on the 1-hour. If price gets within that sweet spot region, it would give me a higher level of confluence that price is ready to finish that retracement and for the impulse move to actually begin. So I would want to see price settling within that area before I look to take a long position trade. Taking a look at the 15 minutes, we are currently seeing that price is on that retracement to the downside. We are in a bit of consolidation here per 15, but I can see momentum is moving down and we're going to get further downside movements before we move to the upside. I'll be keenly observing the 15-minute chart to actually see where price action takes over on the bullish end. And once that bullish price action takes over, I'll be entering with a long position. Also noting that futures price is at 3,441, while current price is at 3,416. Now, this is nearly a 25-point difference to the upside, which adds to the bullish confluences which I was talking about. While I was looking for short positions earlier, it is clear the bulls have taken control and we actually have a lot more bullish confluences than we do bearish confluences, which is great for me because it just adds that much confidence in market directionality continuing to the bullish side. So let's keenly observe that and hopefully we'll capitalize on some opportunities for gold. Moving on to Nas100. Nas100 had some interesting moves last night. So starting on the 4-hour time frame, we are seeing that at midnight, at the opening of the market, we had a massive spike to the downside. we had a nearly 22.1 to about 21. We had like 50-point drop. That's insane. And it's a very short space of time. I just want to see. Yeah, that happened within like an hour, actually less. It just absolutely fell. So we did have bullish consolidation leading up to this massive drop, and price was making strides to the upside, but with very low momentum. Taking a look at the candles on the 4-hour chart leading up to this drop, we can see wick rejections to the downside, to the upside. So the market was very choppy. There wasn't much in terms of momentum, but there was opportunities to take some long positions. Now, that being said, this massive drop has now moved price below the 50 SMA, and we are sitting with bearish momentum on the RSI, trading below 45 but above 30. This adds further confluence to bearish positions. Now, that being said, bullish price structure is still intact. We have our higher low at 21,470, still holding strong. So I do want to mark that off. Let's say 21,500, just for a nice round number. So we still have that support structure at play. It is holding. We have some wick rejections to the downside, but despite the massive drop, price is holding above that level. And of course, our resistance at that 22,000 mark. Now, this drop could just be investors taking profits due to the psychological level and actually buying back in at the discount zone. So it is worth noting that this could just be profit taking with investors actually getting in at a discount zone. So just be cautious there. But that being said, we have two confluences for bearish nature with price below 50 SMA and bearish RSI. But we still have bullish confluence with price structure and with momentum favoring the bulls. Now, well, long-term momentum favoring the bulls if we were to just take a look at the daily time frame. Now, I would say this is just a retracement, but I would still say trade cautiously. Don't be taking unnecessary longs unless you're saying proper price action at play. Now, moving into the 1-hour chart, we can observe the massive drop in this market. We can see, despite the market closing at 10, there was a lot of trading going on within that time, which led to that drop. We can see a massive spike up, drop down below, with price now just consolidating and figuring out market directionality. Now, on the 1-hour chart, price is trading below the 50 SMA, and we are trading in the bearish region of the RSI, so bearish momentum. However, this is still structurally sound, and I would actually be waiting to see how price reacts to this level, and if we get a push to the upside, and then observing the reaction to the 21,700 zone. And if this holds as a break and retest level, a move to the downside. But if it breaks above, then we know there is a bullish market directionality, and we can trade this move back to 22,000. So yeah, at the moment, indices are very volatile, especially Nas100. So just trade with some cautionality and wait for confirmation on market directionality before placing any positions. On US30, we are on the 4-hour time frame, and we can very much see the same thing. Price was making some very choppy, albeit choppy, bullish strides, but we had that massive drop at midnight, and price found support at 42,220 with resistance at 42,900. Now, there's a lot more consolidation happening here than there is on Nas100, and I'm actually seeing a lot of upside potential. But as it stands, price is trading below the 50 SMA, and we are trading in the bearish region of the RSI below 45. Moving into the 1-hour chart, we can see massive wick rejections to the downside with a lot of momentum pushing up. So it is clear that despite the profit taking and liquidity grab that happened in the early hours of this morning, the market does seem to be recovering to a certain extent and is making some strides higher. Now, I would like to observe what happens at the 42,560 level just to confirm what side of the market this price is trading at. But as it stands on the 1-hour time frame, there's very bearish structure at play, while on the 4-hour time frame, bullish structure is intact, but we are having a massive retracement to the downside. On the VIX index, we see there was a massive spike to the upside. The price was actually sitting at 22 peaking at 22. So it did move into that neutral territory above 20. So investors were not risk on, they were actually risk off. Well, not even risk off, they were actually just risk neutral, rather, I should say. So with it being risk neutral, it's actually just investors being cautious, which is the reason why we're seeing a massive spike in gold and a drop in the indices, which actually just confirms the technicals that we've just covered. I would say at this moment in time, just to read up on some news articles, trade cautiously, and wait for the momentum to kick back in. Because right now, we have very little momentum and market directionality confirmed in this market. Today, we do have a news release for market sentiment, but let's actually. We see that the news from Wednesday and Thursday, we had very bearish news for the dollar. We can see that market expectations were lower than expected, which is not good for the dollar, which is probably why we saw the increase in gold and we saw the decrease in the indices. Now today we have consumer sentiment release, but based on the sentiment coming out of the US, it is probably going to end up being lower. So just wait for that, factor that into your trades, make sure to read up on some news headlines, and I'm sure you will be profitable. Now, I'd also like to just cover some news releases from TradingView. Starting with gold, we see the headline say future gold releases could challenge record highs as Middle East tensions flare, so positive there. Future gold rises as Israel-Iran conflict fuels safe haven demand. Bitcoin tumbles as gold rises. Why? Futures rally as Israel launches strike on Iran. Okay, I'm beginning to see a pattern here. AUD USD gold rallies to 3,440 as traders seek shelter amidst Israel-Iran conflict. So clearly there was some movement with Israel-Iran, definitely worth reading up on that, and that has resulted in a massive spike in gold. This is where, technicals and fundamentals need to go hand in hand. You can't be off just trading technicals without actually taking a look at fundamentals. I think it's important to have a good overview on both things. So that is news for gold, and as it stands, technicals actually indicate a very strong buying opportunity. So hold that in mind, and we actually have volume in gold trading at 318.14K at the moment. Moving on to US tech, let's see if we get any news there. First to score fresh record highs. Okay, this is all old news, so nothing new going in there, just very much about the Middle East happening. So let's check US30. Equity rises after fresh inflation data, but this was on the 12th. So it's clear that news releases haven't actually released anything for US30 and Nas100 based on the drop that happened this morning. They're still based on older headlines. Be sure to actually check out the dates before reading up on these things. But that is my analysis for today. I hope you thoroughly enjoy that. Please like and subscribe, and also go check out my Twitter page. I drop all my analyses there, as well as my charts for my TradingView account. So just an all-rounded platform for me to actually share some of the data and share the ideas that I have. But with that, I wish you a very good weekend. Make sure you do some work this weekend and get prepped for the week ahead. Obviously, I will drop you with the weekly flows video before the week begins so we can get a good overall view of the market for next week. With that, I'll catch you in the next video, traders. Cheers.